recession is here. Or maybe not, depending whom you ask and which indicator you look at. And also, I was wrong in the last video. We still need to know how to get ready for what's coming. So let's get started. Hello everyone, I'm Johan from Economia, your destination for financial independence, tips to invest and spend wisely. Last time we talked, we were expecting the Q2 GDP figure. And it's here, minus 0.9%. So we're in a recession, right? Well, the White House disagrees. What does it mean? What is the actual situation? Where are we heading? And how we prepare? That's what we're going to talk about today, just after you click the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It would help us a lot. Thank you, and let's start. Since the last recession of 2008-2009, we've lived through 11 years, more or less, of economic growth. Everything was perfect until, as we know, the pandemic happened, less perfect. And then, starting this year, we've seen all the indicators going downhill. The supply chain, super tight because of the pandemic, obviously. Then, inflation, very high. All the markets are going down, not very good. Then, on February 24th, as you remember, Russia attacked Ukraine, increasing again the stress on the supply chain with gas, oil, wheat, cooking oil, and more. So, not an ideal situation. And we are experiencing inflation rates not seen for almost 40 years. For example, the last data from the US in July was plus 8.5%, still less than June, but still very high. And all the other major economies in the world are experiencing the same level. We're still waiting for more data from the EU, from Japan, from Canada, but overall it looks like it's going to continue to grow. And of course, when there is inflation, it is the job of the central banks to tame inflation, and they have been working on it very hard. Very recently, the US central bank, or the Fed, has again increased its rate, its main rate, by 0.75% or 75 basis points, bringing it to 2.25 to 2.5%. This is a level we haven't seen since 2008, with a little passage in 2018 when it went up. So very high, and it's going to continue going up. We are looking at probably 3.5% by the end of the year if we listen or believe the rumors. And you can see that the banks, the central banks across the world, the main ones, are following suit. Then, of course, the GDP. The US GDP came in for the second quarter at minus 0.9%, meaning 2 quarters in a row of negative growth, meaning inflation, right? Maybe not. Let's see. So, are we in a recession or not? Well, according to this definition, we already are. Let's see. A recession is a macroeconomic term that refers to a significant decline in general economic activity in a designated region. It had been typically recognized as 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline, as reflected by GDP, in conjunction with monthly indicators such as rise in unemployment. However, the White House, as we saw, as well as the Fed chair, disagree and want to utilize a more broader definition. The National Bureau of Economic Research, which officially declares recession, says the 2 consecutive quarters of decline in real GDP are not how it is defined anymore. The NBER defines a recession as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. Based on this second definition, indeed, we are not in a recession. Let's look at the indicators. First indicator, the GDP is going down. Second indicator, real income Again, this one is going down. Third indicator, and that's where I was wrong last time. Employment actually went up by 525,000 with an unemployment rate of 3.5%, really, really low. And we're seeing salaries going up. Fourth, it's industrial production. This one was negative in June by 0.2%. However, it was up on the quarter. So far it's good, but we're waiting for the numbers next week on August 16th. Then the wholesale and retail sales data. So retail sales data is not there yet, but we look at the wholesale retail data, and this one is up. Very much up year over year, as you can see, it's good. However, the inventory are going up by 25% year over year. So that means two things. Either the supply chain is coming back and they're putting more because they want to avoid not having the product to sell, or the sales are slowing down and the inventories are piling up. This we will know to the next report, but that's something we should be looking at. So overall, if we look at that, we're not technically in a recession yet, but the indicators are starting to show us that maybe something is going to happen. And with more and more interest rate going up, this is going to slow down the economy. This is inevitable. And when the economy slows down, we may be going into recession. Now, remember, when there's a recession, a lot of different things, a lot of different actors in the economy are impacted. First, the companies, obviously, because they see less sales, they see possible slowdown in their activity, so they need to reduce investment, they need to reduce maybe production a bit, and they need to reduce salaries, maybe they need to lay off. And unfortunately, we are starting to see some layoffs recently. We can talk about Walmart, we can talk about Shopify, we talk about 7-Eleven and Ford and Oracle. This is not good. People are losing their jobs, and this may continue. So this is really something to look at, and it's contradictory to what we just said about the employment going up. But the employment going up, it's good. This one is fantastic. But when companies start laying off, this may start a chain of events. So we need to really look at that. And when you lose your job, the obvious one, if you're the only breadwinner in your family, or even if you're two and one of the two loses his job, you want to contract your spending, right? You're going to spend less, consume less, and this is going to affect the companies that are selling products and services, and it's going to have some effects on the overall economy. So we need to look at that first effect, one of the first effects of a recession. The other one we need to look at, and it's another indicator we need to look at, is the company earnings and their guidance. We are finishing the earnings season for Q2, and we're getting the guidance for Q3, where company says what they expect Q3 to be, what the rest of the year or next year would be. And usually companies use this time to really let us know how they see the economy and what indicator they have. Maybe their sales are slowing down, maybe customers are delaying investment. They can see a lot of things. So overall, the Q2 earnings were good. However, the guidance were starting to soften, and there were some guidance where they were saying that eventually this is going to be a slower quarter. And actually the analysts also are looking at Q3 earnings, and they are lowering the expectations. If we look at a few companies that have announced, Apple and Amazon had stellar Q2, and they think that's going to continue. We saw Microsoft missed expectations. Google was okay, but they said Q3 is not going to be so easy, and they have a guidance that's a bit soft. We're going to see Walmart, we're going to see Target coming, and others coming next week. So they're going to start telling us as they're closer to our everyday buys, obviously, if they see us slowing down. So this is something we should keep on looking. They may be precursors to something going down. So a lot to digest, a lot of information coming all the time, but we know that things are going to be changing. We know that a recession might be coming, or at least a big slowdown of the economy might continue. So we need to be ready, and that's what we're going to discuss just after that. So, what steps can you take to prepare? So first and foremost, I just want to remind you, I'm just a guy on YouTube, and what I'm going to talk about is just my own experience and my own research. This is not financial advice. You should do your own research. With that in mind, let's continue. So, as you may remember, I'm old enough to have been through the dot-com bubble recession and 2008-2009 recession, and I was working already. So based on the experience, here are a few steps that you can take to get ready. This is going to be a bit of a repeat from the last time, but we just want to make sure that we are ready for that. So, number one, be the best you can be at your job. It's not guaranteed, but usually if a company has to lay off some people, they're not gonna lay off their best performers. So try to be the best possible at your job and make yourself useful. Number two, just be ready in case. So update your resume and your LinkedIn profile, and make sure maybe to scrub your social network for some posts that were difficult to understand or may not have been in the best possible type of humor. It's just a way to make sure that in case you're a candidate for a job, this is not going to impact a potential employer and the way they look at you. Number three, invest in yourself. This is the best time to continue learning new skills or maybe upgrade your existing skills. There's a lot of resources online. Some are free, some are relatively cheap for you to be even better at what you do. Update your knowledge, know the latest approaches, the latest processes, the latest thinking around what you do. This is a very good thing to start looking and investing in yourself. Number four, put your finances in order. This is the obvious one, but make sure to pay back any debt, any high interest debt like credit card debt. Make sure to look at your expenses, cut down a bit what you can cut down, maybe less restaurants, less eating out in a week. Continue to have fun, obviously, but try to scale down a bit just to prepare, just in case something comes, until we know where we're heading. Number five, obviously, your emergency fund. We've talked about it. This is a fund that's about 6 months of expenses, 9 months or 12 months, depending how you want to have it in case you were to lose your job. This gives you a kind of a cushion, a safety net, and some time to find your new job without putting yourself, your family, the people that depend on you, your loved ones, in a bad situation. So emergency fund, it should be there, but in case it's not there, please, please, please prepare and put money there on your emergency fund. We have a video where we talk about it. And finally, number six, if you can, if you have the time, take a second job. It can be just a few hours a week, but just in case your main job were to disappear, you will have something to fall back until you find a new employment. It's not easy, it's not for everybody, but something worth thinking about and trying if you can. Time to sum up. As we've seen, this is a lot of data and we are heading into tough times. No question about it, or at least much tougher than what we have lived in the past 10, 11 years. So we need to be ready. We have just seen 6 steps together to prepare yourselves. Remember, we are all in there together. We're gonna monitor, we're gonna find ways to go around it. We just need to be ready, be careful, and go over that all together. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for taking the time. Please, if you like this content, give it a like, subscribe for more contents. Do not hesitate to leave a comment. Tell us if something was wrong, if you would like us to go into detail into another type of content, anything. We'll be happy to see your comments. And if you have time, there are links down below if you want to try with crypto. There are links that I could, referral links, I should say, where I'll get a little something, you'll get a little something for Bittrex, for FTX Japan, and for Bitflyer in Japan. Thank you again. Until next time.